Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Thank you for stopping by. Well, I trust you enjoyed my last video on the Black Crows. And we talked about being too hot to handle, which is one of their classic songs. So I trust you found that one encouraging. We're going there to Mike, Adam, and Adam, who in New York 1981 thought, hey, we could have a bit of a go at this, and they formed the Beastie Boys. Of course, when you become hip hop, and these guys are absolutely incredibly influential in the world of hip hop, you've got to have alternate names: Mike D, MCA, and Ad Rock. These guys are very, very significant in the scheme of things. In fact, they got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2012. Elements of fusion rock, hip hop, alternate hip hop, funk, electro, jazz, and Latin. So not just hip hop, just all sorts of bits and pieces thrown in there to really just make their mix really, really spicy. Between 1986 and 2011, 8 studio albums, 5 compilation albums, 5 video albums, 44 music videos. The videos are pretty amazing, actually. A little bit risque in places, but pretty incredible. 7 EPs, 40 singles. Estimated these guys have sold 20 million albums in the USA. Now, the thing about the Beastie Boys, and we'll get onto the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. In fact, I've got a video link to that below, because I'm not a hip hop guy, so I can't speak the language that well. But all I can tell you is that these guys changed the world really through what they did. They just had attitude, angst. They were white. Till at that point, hip hop was very much black, but these guys were white. And they proved that white boys can rap as much as anybody else. These guys also weren't scared to talk about things that they needed to be talked about, including when Tibet became under Chinese rule a little bit later, little bit ago. These guys had the Tibetan Free Concert because they thought, well, we don't think that's such a good idea. And so these guys actually enabled music to have a bit of a voice, a bit of a commentary. They really sang what they thought, what they believed, and they didn't really care what people thought. And because they were the Beastie Boys, and by the way, how great is that name for these guys? Absolutely perfect. You can actually have a bit of a voice, and they certainly did give their voice to various causes. The Beastie Boys have 3 Grammy Awards from 10 nominations, so that's pretty amazing. A whole stack of MTV Music Video Awards, and as I said, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2012. Now, the song, there's a song that when you look up the top 10, the song Sabotage is pretty well up there the whole time. This came off 3 Communication. And this is a bit of a parody about police and the police state, if you look at the clip. And interesting, Rolling Stone put this number 475 of their 500 songs of all time, and they updated that to 245 a little bit later. Now, Sabotage, people didn't really know what this song was about, and it came out a little bit later that Sabotage was actually all about a sound engineer that wasn't doing the right thing when they were recording an album. And so that kind of put that whole thing to rest. I mean, given it was about the police state and everything else, you think, well, maybe it's about that. And the great thing about really good songwriting is you keep it mysterious enough that you kind of think, well, what's this even about? And perhaps I can come up to my own views about what this is about. But it's about a rogue sound engineer. But you know what it's like. I reckon any group in any workplace in the world, there's just that one person that makes things tricky for everyone else. They don't seem to understand things. They don't seem to be able to pick up on the cues. They seem to say the most ridiculous things at the wrong times. They just do the wrong thing. And you think, oh my goodness, if this guy just wasn't here, life would be just so much easier. In fact, you could be that person. It's just one of these things. And you think, well, oh God, if this person was around, life would be so much different and so much more worthwhile than it is. But God, I've just got to put up with this person somehow. Well, that's one way of looking at it, I suppose. Another way of looking at it, think about the fact that I don't think I've been in any group at all that has not had this person in it. And you think, well, what are we trying? What? And in any sort of the goodness of any group is basically as good as how it is to actually be able to include everybody in it and to be able to provide grace when it needs to provide grace. You think, oh, this guy's a bit of a saboteur. We really don't want them to be here. They're just really, really disruptive. But, what are they trying to teach us? It could be that, we're all kind of thinking the same thing, and someone who's trying, well, not sabotaging, but they're thinking at things a bit of a different way. So immediately, instead of immediately coming to this thing of, well, I'm right and he's wrong, sort of going along the track, well, actually, what's he trying to say here? Is something that we can actually pick up, something that we can actually do to actually do things differently, perhaps even better somehow. So our immediate reaction, I know I've done this plenty of times myself, and you go, oh, for heaven's sake. But I've got to put that on hold for a minute and say, hang on a minute. What's actually going on here, really? And, this person's still in the group. They might have actually have a bit of influence in as well even. And you think, well, we just got to kind of go with these guys a little bit. Instead of thinking of them as someone who's trying to sabotage the status quo, think, well, how can they enhance the status quo? That's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is this concept of self-sabotage. We look in a mirror and we automatically think, nah, that's ugly. Or we have a successful thing and we think, oh no, that wasn't a success at all. Or we might do something significant, we think, well, that wasn't significant. Or we might go out and then we escape because we just can't be there. We can't be in the zone. We can't get into the zone at a particular moment. So we self-sabotage. Any success that we kind of get, we kind of derail a little bit because, success is like, other people. I don't deserve success. But you know what? We all do. And certainly when Mike, Adam and Adam started the Beastie Boys, I'm thinking, well, we don't know where this thing's going to actually go. But we're going to be strong enough and bold enough to actually give this thing a bit of a go. And because of that, the world really, really resonated with these guys well and truly. So whether it's sabotage from someone, you're thinking, oh my goodness, I just don't understand that person, or think about, well, let's take the word sabotage out of there and let's actually put in, hey, what's this guy trying to teach us? Why is he in our group? And to self-sabotage, and that is, hey, you do deserve success, and hey, it's all right to look in the mirror. It's not going to crack, all right? Take a photo, the lens isn't going to crack either, okay? I think this is what the Beastie Boys is trying to tell us today. They weren't scared to be themselves, and I've said this a few times, and so we also should be scared to be ourselves, not because of what the Beastie Boys did, because you're you're unique, you're individual, and there's no one else quite like you. So I trust that will all be an encouragement for you today. You never really know where these videos are going to go, and my mouth was a little bit tired today. I do apologise for that, but we got there eventually, so that's okay. I don't edit out that stuff. What you see is what you get. I try to do these videos in one take. So on to the clips. So we do have Sabotage, a very significant song in the scheme of things, from the number 3 Communication album. We've actually got a live version of this one, which is pretty cool to see these three doing their stuff live, and also the official clip. So, the official clip is in typical MTV fashion, which was all the thing back in the 1980s. You actually had to tell a story through your songs and tell a story through your videos. So this captures the whole concept of Sabotage really, really well. We gotta fight for your right to party. Everybody know this song. This is a Beastie Boys song, 1987, from License to 3. This is a live version of this one. I looked at the official clip and thought, a bit risque, that one. So I thought I'd just put a live version. Of course, it's nothing like the Beastie Boys energy and power and just good old fun and a crowd that's going absolutely off every time they sing. This song in particular, this is one of the songs you're waiting to hear from these guys. Such attitude, such angst, such everything in this song. So we've got Fight for Your Right, you've got to have that one. Then we've got Intergalactic. This came off the album Hello Nasty from 1998. And the way I think about this one, I think this is a bit of a nod back to their start and thinking, well, we're going to try and do something different here. We might a little bit be off the planet. We might be a little bit different, but we don't care. We're just going to do it anyway. So a bit of a nod to persistence there. That's the official clip on that one. And as said before, we've got the induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And there's nothing like other rappers to actually do that. And so that one's there for you as well. So the links to those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clips are in the description below. And I've also included my last video from the Black Crows. So if you want to recap on those guys, feel free. Well, if you've come back for another one, or if this is your first time to Life Reflections to Music, thank you to everyone for hanging around. It's so good to see you back. Well, that's it for today. Next time we're going to go on to another band. I reckon Beastie Boys might have actually influenced these guys a little bit because they're a bit of a similar groove, and that's DC Talk. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.